beginning and the end of the 1,000 years, all of that's still part of the end of the world. The end of the age of sin. People like, hold on, but Jesus going to be here. We're going to show you something that's still going to be going on while Jesus is here. And that's why it's still going to be the age of sin. Let us go now. You just won't have Satan to blame all the time in the very end of the age, because he's going to be locked up for 1,000 years. So the harvest is the end of the world, huh?
That's right.
Is this end of the world the same end of the world as Matthew 24 that Jesus talked about? It is. It's the same end of the world, because it ends with his coming. Right. And him establishing his kingdom and sending his elect out. That's what he said immediately after the tribulation of them days, right? Right. In Matthew 24. So he's still talking about the same thing. And here he's telling you the end of the world is going to happen with a harvest. Angels being sent out. All of that. So how is the end of the age referred to in Matthew 24? How is that talking about just Jerusalem being destroyed? It don't line up. Go right over the back. Go right over to chapter 12, verse 32.
Matthew 12 and 32.
And go right back, back to chapter 12 and read, start reading at verse 32.
And whosoever speaketh the word against the Son of Man, it shall be forgiven him. But whosoever speaketh against the Holy Ghost, it shall not be forgiven him, neither in this world, neither in the world to come.
So you see here, you can see two different worlds there, right? Not in this world. It ain't going to be forgiven you in this world or in the world to come. So I understand the concept of ages.
Right.
But those ages are happening within one age. So these ages, these small ages are part of the greater perpetuity or everlasting world without end age. And in that age, you got this great period that I have in my own naming of something, for lack of a better way to express it. I call it the age of sin, brothers and sisters. Because that's just what makes sense to how I've read it and how it's coming out so far. So this world and the world to come seem like there's the end of the age. So when Jesus was saying that, was he saying it ain't going to be forgiven you before Jerusalem is destroyed in 70? And then the time that come after Jerusalem is destroyed, which is like 80 and 90, and then the 1st century, 2nd century, 3rd, it ain't going to be forgiven to you. That's not what he's saying. That is not what he's saying there. It's just not. He's talking about after you stand before his judgment seat. After he stopped things in this world and killed those, and it wasn't those who died, it wasn't acceptable when he had to end the world, and when he stand you up and wake you up and you stand before him in the second resurrection. Right. Because you don't make it in the first resurrection, all you got to look forward to his judgment after his 1,000-year reign, right? That's it. When you come stand before him in the day of judgment, it ain't going to be accepted either. You're going to be judged in judgment day. Just as he judged you in this world for it, when he wake you up to stand before him, you still not, he's still going to have that against you. The end of the world, the Messiah said, the angels going to go forth in the end of the world. But that end of the world in Matthew 13 is a different end of the world. People will have you believe. Go to Colossians 3 and 4. We almost out of here, brothers and sisters. Thank y'all for your patience. But I wanted to put this on the table so that when you go to our pages and you read other titles that's affiliated with us, because if we say anything about the last days, people can link their videos to your page, and all of a sudden you'll see their lessons on your YouTube page also. So I want you to go to it. If you see the name Absolute Truth and you see we are not in the last days, I want you to go to it and check it out. And I want you to measure for yourself what's being said. Go ahead, brother. Colossians 3 and 4.
When Christ, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory. Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanliness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry.
So, read verse 4 one more time and pay attention.
When Christ, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory.
Now he's talking here about the resurrection, right? Let's see when the resurrection gonna happen. Because he's talking about the first, this here is talking about the first resurrection.
Right.
When he sent, what he taught, this at least link up with Matthew 13, the end of the world. The harvest is the end of the world. The reapers are my angels. They go out and they gonna gather the wheat, which are his children. The tares are the wicked, the children of the wicked one. This at least coincides with Matthew 13, what we just read in Colossians 3. He telling you, when Christ shall appear, we shall appear with him in glory. He talking about the specific saints who are brought up in the first resurrection.
That's right.
And those who may be alive at that time that be changed in the twinkling of an eye, as Paul spoke of in what? Thessalonians, right? Now, read this. I want to know, when shall we, I hope we, some of us in this room, or all of us, I hope we are part of that. When is this supposed to happen? Go to Job 19, please. The prophets spoke of things. And not once are you going to find them alluding to the last days end with the destruction of Jerusalem in 70. You can't even go to the 70 weeks of Daniel and Daniel 9 and try to pull that one out of the last verse. You just can't do it. I'm not going to go to Daniel 9 today and talk about the 70 weeks. But it said that Messiah was going to be established in the 70 weeks. He was going to be cut off. And then Jerusalem was going to be trodden underfoot of the Gentiles until the consummation and desolations are determined. And the consummation means the end of everything that was supposed to be determined upon Jerusalem. It wasn't just determined Jerusalem will be destroyed. See, it's a misconception. The destruction of Jerusalem is destruction for you and me and our fathers because we got kicked out. But the Romans were setting up a province. They didn't leave like, oh, we out, everybody get up out of here. Jews just were no longer allowed. Jerusalem immediately started to be trodden underfoot, and until this day it is trodden underfoot of the nations until Christ come back. So in Daniel 9, when you read 9 and verse 27, you will actually see that the 70 weeks of Daniel don't end until the times of the Gentiles end. Because they're going to trodden it underfoot until the end. And that's what Jesus said in Luke 21 when he told them Jerusalem going to be destroyed. He said the army going to come in, they're going to take y'all away captive, and they're going to spread y'all to all the nations in the earth, and Jerusalem shall be trodden underfoot by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. So the times of the Gentiles are still a part of the last days. You just can't escape it. You just cannot escape it. Job 19, brother, would you start reading at verse 23, please?
Oh, that my words were now written, or that they were printed in a book, that they were graven with an iron pen, and lead in the rock forever. For I know that my Redeemer liveth, and he that shall stand in the latter day upon the earth.
Wait, hold on. Read that one more time.
For I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. And though after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see God, whom I shall see for myself, and mine eyes shall behold, and not another, though my reins be consumed within me.
Job is telling you after he done been basically ate to nothing but ash, he long dead and gone. He will be resurrected. He will see the Redeemer, who is God, who is none other than the Mashiach. And this is when is this going to happen? He said all of this is going to happen in the latter days, the latter times, the last days. And latter times, last days, end of the world, all of that is synonymous with one another. Nobody verily disagrees with that. People may try to argue the age, but they accept them terms. The latter days, the latter times. He said the same thing to Nebuchadnezzar. This was going to happen in the latter times. Job telling you in the latter times, my Redeemer going to stand up on this earth, and he going to resurrect me, and I'm going to see him for myself. I ain't going to hear about him. It ain't going to be a myth. I'm going to see him. Why? Because all those that belong to Christ shall appear with him when he appear at his glory.